Welcome to Kathryn Raaker's World. Innovation, culture, adventure, fashion and health, artists, destinations, traditions. This is Kathryn Raaker's World.
Hi, this is Kathryn Raaker of Kathryn Raaker's World, and let's just talk. Our guest today is Steve Tcherchian, who is the Chief Product Officer and Chief Information Safety Officer for XiPro. Steve is on Forbes Technology Council, the Nonstop Under 40 Executive Board, and part of the ANSI X9 Security Standards Committee. With over 25 years in the cybersecurity field, Steve is responsible for sales, strategy, and innovation of XiPro, and as well as overseeing XiPro's risk, compliance, and security to ensure the best experience for customers in the mission-critical computing marketplace. Steve is an engaging and dynamic speaker and regularly presents the cybersecurity topics at conferences around the world. I want to welcome you to our show.
Thank you.
And tell us the latest ransomware scams that people should be wary of this year, because there's so much you have to be constantly aware of with cybersecurity. Am I correct?
Oh, that's such a critical aspect of running any business, is to make sure that you're security conscious. And most people think that ransomware won't happen to them, but everybody's a target, especially nowadays. So ransomware at its core is, just imagine somebody coming in and holding your files, your data, your computer, what have you, as hostage, and asking you to pay them money to be able to get your data back. So these can be your customer records, your financial records. I mean, on an individual basis, this can be kids' photos or other things that are really personal to you and important to you.
Right.
But it's very damaging, very, very compromising when you have a hacker coming in, installing a virus on your computer and locking you out of your own data.
Yeah.
So, and this is happening to small businesses all the way to large businesses, for large enterprises. So everybody needs to be aware of this. And it's happening because cybersecurity best practices are just not being followed. Like I said, everybody thinks that it's not going to happen to them, but they don't realize that every single person, every single entity is a target. There's no discrimination on who they go after. If you've got something and they can hold it for ransom and get you to pay money to get your own information back, you're a target.
So are there special ones that are out there that we should be worried or concerned about?
All of them. They're constantly innovating, and it's a cat and mouse game, but the bad guys have the upper hand here. So the good guys are playing catch up, and the bad guys are so successful because ultimately we let them be successful. Look, we're in 2024 already. Best practices when it comes to security of your own personal life, security of your business, these have been in place for decades, yet we're not following them. What does that do? That allows them to walk right in through the front door and cause as much damage to our digital lives as possible.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you have to be constantly aware of it. And I mean, my computer is constantly scanning and doing everything else to make sure that I'm not getting malware or anything like that. And I've been aware of it for a long time, being in business a while. So what are the latest developments that you can tell me in cybersecurity field that we should know about?
Yeah, there's some really, really interesting scams that are going on out there. Obviously, ransomware, and if you're not familiar with it or how to protect against it, please visit our site at xipro.com, xypro.com, follow our LinkedIn, our Instagram, our Twitter. We're constantly sharing information there. But one thing that's going to be very, very prevalent in 2024 is going to be these AI deepfakes. why this is so dangerous is we're posting in almost everything about our lives on social media these days, from where our kids go to school to where we work to where we go out to eat, whatever. So these criminals create a profile about us. And with all these TikTok and Instagram reels and other videos that we upload about ourselves, it's not very difficult to be able to record our voices. So what these criminals are doing, they're using AI, artificial intelligence tools, to create representations of our voice. Now, just imagine if you receive a phone call from your child that sounds just like your child saying they've been kidnapped and being held for hostage.
Right.
Now it's all a scam, but it's
True.
happening
I've
enough
seen it.
people.
We've seen it this year. And
Absolutely.
I try to warn people about it with shows like this for the simple reason that I've stopped doing a lot of social media
Uh,
personally, because I don't think you should put your personal information out there that much, but they can find it easily. Am I right?
Everything is out there. Everything is out there, from, like I said, where our kids go to school, where we're having dinner, even to what type of socks we buy or the size of our underwear that we purchase online. It's all out there for somebody to create a profile to target us. But these deep fakes take it to a whole new level. If you receive a phone call from let's say your 13-year-old daughter calling you, they've been kidnapped, and it's entirely fake, but panic's going to set in, and you're immediately going to try and get into that fight or flight mode and try and get see what's going on, understand what's going on. And they're
Right.
starting to demand money. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. They're going to harm the kids, and panic takes over.
For sure. So, what are the latest developments that we can do to protect ourselves from what's happening today? And they target everyone, the elderly especially. And
Yeah, absolutely. Elderly, politicians, you've got celebrities, anybody who's a high net worth individual, all the way down to somebody who's just going to work, coming home, taking care of their family. Everybody's a target. Now, with those deep fake scams, what I ultimately recommend is everybody within your family or your circle come up with a safe word. So this is something that if you receive one of these phone calls, that you can ask the caller to say that safe word. And unless they can repeat that back, it's a scam. So that'll at least protect you from somebody pretending to be somebody within your family. Now, as far as protecting yourself against ransomware, I know, Kathryn, you said you've got tools and antivirus and
right,
anti-malware and all this stuff on your computer that's doing it.
right.
Really, security starts with the individual. So when we talk about hacking and cybersecurity and cyber threats,
Mhm.
it's not what you see on TV, where you've got a hacker with 20 computer screens and all the source code running by and they're feverishly typing on the keyboard. That's not hacking. Hacking is literally picking up the phone, pretending to be someone and tricking them to give you a password, or sending somebody an email saying that there's a UPS delivery
Right.
that's been
That's
delayed.
a real,
Click this link.
that's out there right now.
Absolutely.
If you open
Absolutely.
it up, what happens?
If you open it up, what it's probably going to do is take you to a legitimate looking site that looks like UPS or FedEx or what
Right.
have you, but with a form there asking you to enter your information or confirm your information. So it says, enter your first name, last name, and credit card number, social security number to be able to validate this delivery. And unbeknownst to you, it looks like a legitimate website. You're probably expecting a delivery, especially during the holiday season. There's nothing, you wouldn't think twice to go in there, put in your information, and that's it. They've got your
Everything.
information, you're compromised. Or you click on the link and it downloads some malicious program to your computer, and now they've got remote access to your computer.
Okay, I have a question for you, because if
Sure.
you look in the base of the email, right,
Uh-huh.
at the very top, where it says, I forget, I'm not on there yet, but it really can give you, at least well, I've gone through this so many times with people, that if you go up and look who it is or where it is right up there at the top, you can then tell it's not real.
Absolutely. There's so many red flags in emails like that. The sender is the first one. You can look in there and you can see, let's say UPS or FedEx, for example. It'll say it'll be coming from UPS or FedEx.com, but they'll enter a additional character in there because obviously they can't send it from FedEx.com. So it'll be FEDEEX.com or some derivative of that. Just enough where we're so busy, we're transacting on our phones, we're conducting business on our phones, we're on the go. We don't have a lot of time to slow down and check every single email that comes in, whether it's legitimate or not. And that's what the hackers are counting on, that you're going to be so distracted, so busy, you're running your life, you're going to make one mistake, and that's it. They've got you.
Okay, and on that note, we're going to take a little short break. We'll be right back with Steve Tcherchian, who is with Zypro, and we're talking about cybersecurity for you, your family, your relatives, everyone. Everyone needs to be aware of this. And what's your website? Would you give that before going?
Sure, it's Zypro.com, XYPRO.com.
All right, we'll be right back on Kathryn Raaker's World, and let's just talk. We'll be right back. We are back now with Steve Tcherchian, who is the wonderful guest that we have today. He's the Chief Product Officer and Chief Information Security Officer for Zypro. And what's amazing to me is how smart they are. Because I'm telling you, I have never seen anything like it. Every day I get hundreds of emails. And I've gotten to the point now where I just go through them, like I put an X on everyone so it's almost deleted, but I then go back and look at who it's from. And if I don't recognize them, I delete it. Now, what I don't understand, Steve, is why people use Chinese TikTok and they're all over it. And I'm thinking to myself, we've known so much about TikTok. Why would we let our children or crazy adults out there that go on TikTok? Tell me that.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It's nothing in this world is for free. And TikTok might seem like a fun app to waste some time on, or for a lot of people, influencers, to monetize. But the company ByteDance that created TikTok, they didn't create it for your entertainment. They didn't create it so you can enjoy yourself and have fun. They did it so they can collect information and create profiles on demographics within certain countries, the United States and other places.
Right.
So every second you spend on TikTok means information they're gathering on you to create a profile. Now, granted, they're probably not targeting you, the individual, but you start grouping information like people like you start creating a profile of, let's say for example, me, people in their 40s in a certain career that have certain interests. I could create a profile about that. Now that information is extremely valuable when you're talking about state versus state. So TikTok's main purpose is exactly that. When you're scrolling past videos, they know how much time you're spending on each video, which ones you're interested in, which ones you're not interested in. Even without you clicking the like button, their profile is being built over time. And then you group that with other like people in your demographic, and you've got very, very valuable information that can be used for a variety of purposes later on.
I know I work with so many people that don't understand how much they put out on all these social medias, that it's crazy. And the other thing is, if something derogatory goes out about you, right, try to get it off of social media.
Absolutely. You're gonna be spending your entire life trying to prove a negative. They can put anything they want.
Right.
Anything they can say anything they want about you, and now you're on the defensive to prove that what's being said out there or what's being proliferated is false information.
That's right.
Good luck.
Good luck is right. So I'm overprotective, believe me.
Yeah.
And I used to live in a foreign country and I got robbed. They had everything. Absolutely everything. I thank God it's been years and years and years ago. Okay. But
Interesting story about that
it
too.
doesn't make any difference. They've got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Okay.
interesting story about that with the way that we're oversharing information on social media. You've got sites like Zillow and Redfin and real estate sites that people legitimately use to sell property. But you
That's
don't
right.
realize that once your property is sold, the pictures of the inside of your house
They're still out
remain.
there.
They're out there, and thieves know that. So they use that to profile and create a profile and a footprint of your house. So when they know that when they break in, they can go to the bedroom, which is located here, they can spend this much time and get out of there. Same thing with the social media videos that we're shooting at home. You're showing them everything that you've got inside of your house, creating a bigger target for yourself.
Right. And people just don't realize that,
Yeah.
I mean, I have more protection than you could ever believe. And
Yeah.
I believe in protecting your house and I used to work for a moving and storage company. So you make a profile for yourselves of what you really have, especially if you don't keep the doors locked and you don't have a security system. And if you don't have certain things, then you're being silly, because those things are important to keep yourself, actually protected.
Well, think about it. We've got security systems in our house. When we leave our house, we're probably locking our doors, checking, making sure that the windows are all closed. But it blows my mind how many people that you see that have this in their hand, which their whole life is connected to, and it doesn't have a password. Anybody can pick up your phone and do whatever they want with it. They get in there, they can drain your bank accounts, they can, have access to your entire digital life, ruin your entire personal life.
That's right. I mean, it's amazing that, or if they have a security system and they don't turn it on.
They don't turn it on.
I mean, when I'm here by myself, guess what? The stay is on.
Yeah,
Okay. When I leave or go to bed, away is on.
away is on. Absolutely.
I mean, so, it's so important to me. Let me ask you, do you think organizations are becoming more cyber secure, or is there still a lot of work to be done with them, Steve?
Unfortunately, I'm down in the weeds when it comes to what companies are doing and what the largest companies are doing. And there's a lot of work that's still left to be done. Just look at the MGM attack last year. I mean, a
Mhm.
company as big as MGM Resorts, and they got brought down to their knees where people couldn't use their key cards to get into their rooms or use the elevators or get their cars out of the parking lot. Earlier last year, also, the LA Unified School District, same thing. They got hit with a ransomware attack. People would go to school, teachers would go to school. They couldn't take attendance. They couldn't assign homework. They went back to pen and paper to run their operations for a few days. So as much as we'd like to say it's 2024, we've learned our lesson. We know exactly what to do. Unfortunately, we're spending billions of dollars on all types of security solutions, but we're not doing the simple, easy things like locking the door, closing the windows in our
Right.
virtual world.
The other thing is that they're attacking medical facilities.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, my doctors actually went to another system because they got everybody's information, including the
yeah,
doctors and nurses
yeah.
and everybody else.
There's
So,
so many medical companies that have just shut down, that have just closed their doors saying we got hit with a ransomware attack, for example, or our data got compromised, and we can't continue functioning because either we can't pay the ransom, or we've lost all of our files, or we've compromised all of our patient information. And you would say, what's the use? Why would they even attack patient records? But what they can do is it's worth more it's worth more in the dark on the dark web then credit card information. Credit card information gets stolen, that credit card will be canceled and you're not going to be able to use that information any longer. Medical information gets stolen and you can do all kinds of fraud. You can submit fraudulent claims, you can submit prescriptions, you can take those prescriptions, sell them on the dark web, take over somebody's identity. It can cause so much harm, so much damage to have your medical records out there.
Well, how can your company, ZPro, help businesses become more secure, and why you?
Yeah, we've been doing this for a very, very long time, even before cybersecurity was a thing. For decades, cybersecurity was just a nice to have, but we trust everybody. There's no reason, which is the responses we would typically, but there's no reason for us to make it any more cumbersome for us to do business. Unfortunately, that's not the case now. So what Zypro can do is come in, give you an assessment of exactly where you currently are and where you're exposed. What does your attack surface look like? So in a hypothetical sense, are your windows open? Are your doors unlocked? Where's a thief or a hacker going to walk right in through the front door? So that's our first step is we would perform an assessment of your environment and give you a report, give you a score, tell you these are the areas that you're doing well on. These are the areas that we need to shore up ASAP. And then we would come in and implement the security controls to make sure that we're reducing that attack surface.
Mhm.
When I say attack surface, the area, the surface area where somebody can use to get into your digital environment. But it doesn't stop there. You don't just lock the doors, close the windows, and you're done. Now you need the security cameras. Now you need to put the cameras up so you can monitor if somebody's trying to break into your house or break into your network. So we'll put up all the monitoring as well to allow you to respond if something were to happen, to give you a fighting chance. And if you can respond quickly, you can minimize the damage. It'll be much more cost effective to your business. And we can help, Zypro can help in all of these areas.
So you're all over the country, am I correct?
We're
Locally as well?
global. We've got
You're
customers
global.
all over the
That's
world.
that's wonderful. I wish I would have heard about you sooner,
Yeah,
right? Actually, I think that people should call. I think people should contact you because I think it's really important for you to really understand. And this is going to be on all of our programming, just to let you know,
excellent.
because I've heard so many people so many times call me up and say that one thing about your grandson or your daughter or whatever. And I said, you didn't give him anything, did you? You
Uh-huh.
did? Well, now what we have to talk about next, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how is the US, Steve, doing in cybersecurity compared with other countries?
Unfortunately, we're lagging behind. It's I've got a great slide that if you go to our website, it's shared on there that shows in relation what the United States looks like in terms of cyber attacks and ransomware attacks versus the rest of the world. And I put that slide up during my talks, and I
Right,
purposely leave the United States off that slide. And why I say that is I'll list all the other countries there, and it proportionately shows them where there are more attacks and fewer attacks. But if I had the United States up along on that slide along with the rest of those countries, I don't have enough room on my monitor to show how big of an impact the United States has when it comes to cybersecurity attacks. So we
wow,
are lagging behind, but we're also the biggest target. We've got the most going on. So they know that if they can disrupt us, a company in the United States, they're disrupting a large portion of not just the US economy, but probably the world economy.
right. So we are come to the end of our show today, and we're going to get this out as soon as possible on both radio and television. But can you give your website again today? And when you're telling people about social media, stop putting all your information and everybody's information on your social media, because
Absolutely.
everybody gets to know you then, and Messenger and all those other groups, what's business or WhatsApp. And also LinkedIn and I mean, when you think about how much social media we have out there, Steve, it's scary.
Yeah, absolutely. If we had more time, I've got war stories that would just blow your mind of the types of things that happen because of people overshared on social media.
That's right. And that's something that you need to be really aware of. And I even tell my clients, look at your social media, look at what you're doing, before you do it. Because it's too scary. You don't
Yeah.
want people knocking on your door, you know what I mean? In more
Yeah.
ways than one, for your business or for your personal
Absolutely.
life, right? I want to thank you so much for sharing.
My pleasure.
It's been an absolute pleasure. A lot of my family live out there, so I'm very happy that you're there. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining me today.
Happy to do it, Kathryn.
And Happy New Year to you. And
Same to
thank you so much. And don't forget to go to our website at KathrynRaakersWorld.com. And that's where we keep Let's Just Talk and a lot of others. But we try to be very secure. So thank you.